Hi everybody. Sorry, excuse my voice. I'm fighting a head cold. I've actually been down like for the last 2 days, but I'm trying to get myself up and moving around. And Leah just got home from school, so I thought maybe I'll try to come down here and film a video for you guys. So I got the Arteza 60 EverBlend art markers sent to me from Arteza to review. So I wanted to go over unboxing it and then we'll color in a quick image. So the one thing I really liked when I first got these was, you guys have seen when I've gotten the color pencils and the markers, they come in those tin cases, which are nice, but when you try to open them, they're hard to get out. So these come in this nice bag. It comes wrapped in this little, I guess it's just an introduction to what it is. So you get 60 EverBlend markers and a 72 slot marker case. It says here they are unique colors, blendable, alcohol-based inks, replaceable tips, non-toxic. The case itself, which I do believe I saw online, so you can purchase the case similar to this for your pencils and other markers. 72 slots, fits 15 to 22 millimeter markers. It has a carrying handle, adjustable strap, and zipper pocket. And then there is a code, but I will link my affiliate link for Arteza for you guys. So these are brand new, just released by Arteza. I think these little clips are kind of overkill. I don't think you need them. They look cool, but there is a strong Velcro strap across the top here. And then the case, on the back side too, let me show you. On the back side of the case, there is this small zipper pocket that you can put maybe some papers in here. It's a very thin pocket. And then it has the list of all 60 colors and their colors on these little swatches here for you. So I left that on there. And then it does have this adjustable shoulder strap case, which is removable. And then you have the regular carrying case here. And what's really neat about this carrying case is when you open it up, the sides are, you can see the markers there, but the sides are Velcro as well. So if you open up the sides, now the case lies completely flat. And this center portion actually is also Velcro, so you can lift that out of the way too. So I just thought that was pretty cool. And then you have some extra slots here, 12 extra slots here if you want to put some other markers in there. Now, you don't have to buy the kit like this. If you would purchase the kit right now on Arteza's website, it is $69.99 in the US. They do ship anywhere. They do have a UK website as well. You can buy a 4-pack of the markers for $8.99. So let me log into that. And then it has, based on replenishment of your color choices, so it says here burgundy, crimson, fuchsia, watermelon, and so on. So there are a lot of choices if you want to restock these markers. They don't have refills like the Copics do, the Copic refills, but you can rebuy your markers. So I thought that was pretty cool. It does say that the nibs are changeable, but I don't see anything on their website as of right now that you can buy extra nibs. So just keep that in mind. So I did swatch them out in my Arteza watercolor book, and I will tell you this book is designed for watercolor, so it soaked the ink right in. But it was nice to see all of the variety of colors, and yes, it does come with a blender. So I stamped out a couple of images. Let me show you the differences in the markers here. I'll pull one out. So you guys already know the value is going to be there compared to name brands like Copics. The other option you have is Spectrum Noir markers. And then we have the, actually, let's see here. Spectrum Noir redid their shapes. I think this is their old shapes, which were these square. And then you had a fine point nib. And you have this kind of broad stroke nib, okay? They've changed their design to more of these rounded markers now, but it's the same thing. You have the fine point nib, where's the camera? And then you have the broad nib, okay? And then for Copics, you have two different styles of Copics. You have the Copic Chows, which are their round ones, which have a brush nib and a broad nib. And then they have their larger markers, which are the Copic Sketch. Same thing, you have a brush nib and you have a broad nib. Okay, so these Arteza EverBlend markers have a fine nib, and then they also have the broad nib. So I know a lot of people only want brush nibs. If you only want brush nibs, you gotta go with the Copics, or you gotta change your nibs out on your other markers. Now, in price comparison, Copics are the most expensive. The Copic Sketches I found run from like $4.99. The Copic Chows, the Copic Sketches are usually around $6 to $8 per marker, and you can buy them in sets, and you can buy refills for these markers again if you run out of an ink, and you can change the nibs on them from broad tip to brush tip to fine. So a lot of versatility in Copic markers. However, they are on the higher end of the price point. Spectrum Noir markers, I don't know if you can buy these in single colors. Most of the times they come in sets. As far as I know at this point, I do not believe there are any refills. When your marker runs out, it runs out. Now, something new they've recently come out with are the tri-blend markers, which are only fine nibs, but it's 3 of the colors that are coordinating all together on one marker. So that's something new to look out for as well. But again, you only have the fine nib on these. It does not look like you can change these out. These other ones, I do believe you can buy other nibs if your nibs go bad. I honestly have not tried taking a Copic nib and putting it in here. I do believe I have them somewhere, just not at my fingertips at the moment. But a different price alternative to alcohol Copic markers were the Spectrum Noir markers. And a lot of times you can pick these up at the big box stores, and they're discounted if you use a coupon. So normally it's a $14 set. You can get these for around $7 or $8 with a coupon if you go to the big box stores. Okay. Now, Arteza came out with these markers, and what I've done is I stamped out 3 images. The first one is from Blue Knight Rubber Stamps. This is called the Tall Castle with Knight and Maiden. And I colored this one in with my Copics. So the Copic markers that I used were mainly neutral grays, some browns, some greens, and some blue for the sky. Now, you're never going to knock Copic markers. They are very good artist quality markers. Again, I am not an artist. I am just a hobby stamper and card maker. So to me, it's nice to have these markers because there are some refills. I've only just now in the last 10 years of owning my supplies just started to buy refills for them. So I am not somebody who uses them on a daily basis and would need to have refills. I'm just not, I don't have a whole bunch of these markers, but I have enough to have a good supply of them. But I'm not somebody who feels like $9 is worth it for me to use the markers. Now, if you're somebody that's an avid colorer or artist, then I would say you probably want to stick with Copics for that reason, because of buying refills. The second one that I colored was this one, which is the Silhouette Sailboat from Blue Knight Rubber Stamps, and I colored it in with only Spectrum Noir markers. So Spectrum Noir markers I used were for the sky, it was Orange 1, and then GB5 and CG2, which gave us a nice ombre effect. I used some green, and then the blues. The blues I used were TB1, TB2, and TB3. And you can see it blended very nicely, and it was very easy to do on this particular stamped image because there's not any fine area. So mostly I just used the broad tip on the sky and the broad tip on the water, and so it was very easy to color, and I feel like they did blend very well. By the way, all of these were stamped with a Copic or alcohol based friendly ink, which is Momento Tuxedo black ink. You want to use that particular ink when coloring with alcohol markers, otherwise your images could bleed, and you don't want black streaky marks in your colored images. So you want to use a good Copic friendly ink, which is Momento, which is what I recommend. In terms of paper, I used the Spectrum Noir Ultra Smooth Premium White Cardstock, which works very well for blending and for Copic coloring. Alright, so I stamped out one last image, which is the Barn and Silo from Blue Night Rubber Stamps. And for this one, I thought it would be fun to color it in with the new Arteza EverBlend markers. Now, the one thing I noticed when you are taking your markers out and putting them back in, it is a lot easier to get them in and out if you slide them with the wide edge down, with the flat edge down, like that. If you try to put them in any other way, it doesn't want to kind of go into that elastic there. So just to save yourself some time and aggravation, just always remember to put the flat side down and it will slide itself into the rubber band there to hold itself in place. Right? Now, what it's telling you through on the markers here is that the end with the colored band, by the way, both tips are numbered and colored with their actual name and color on both ends. The side with the colored band is going to be your fine nib, and then the other side is going to be your broad tip. I do find that these markers are easy to hold. I didn't find anything difficult about them. And I think for the price point, you're getting 60 markers for $69.99. And right now they have free shipping. So, you know, it's about less than $2 a marker, which I think is a pretty good value. Again, for the wide variety of colors you're getting, if you're somebody that's not a professional and you're just like me and you're just doing some side coloring and wanting to learn to color before you step up to investing in Copic markers, this is a good alternative. But let's color and see how they do. Okay, so I'm going to start with the barn, and I have this brown color called Sienna Brown, and actually that's not the color I wanted. I wanted a there was one in here that was like a barn red. Bring you guys down a little closer so you can see my coloring. Not that I'm the best at coloring, but alright, so I have A411 and A415, and I just want to swatch these out to see how they're going to look together. Okay, that's pretty close. So I'm going to start with the A411. I usually do prefer the brush tip. I think it gives you a little bit nicer look without having like streak marks, but the fine tip is nice to get into areas that are a little more detailed. And here I would flip it over to the broad tip. I have always been afraid to use these markers because I feel like you have to be a perfectionist, because if you don't blend correctly or you don't pick the right colors, it just doesn't look right. But I found that if you use the right ink and paper, just like anything else, it'll come together. It just takes practice, just like with using the colored pencils or you know, any kind of medium. Now this is the 415, which is just a slightly bit darker. And I'm just kind of using it to shadow in the areas that I think should be darker, which are already outlined by the stamp. The stamp has areas where you can see that those areas should be darker. So it doesn't take a lot of effort to put that extra shading in. And this green is called A5959, also known as pale green. Apple green. A151 is cloudy gray and A155 is koala gray. Also, if you guys are not fans of the Blue Night Rubber Stamps Facebook page, please go over and join that page. They will be making the announcement any second now on the design team members. I did apply. I'm hoping that I get to stay on board, although I just started at the end of this year. It'll be nice to be part of a design team officially again and get to see some new products and try them out for you guys. And you guys know I love Blue Night Rubber Stamps for their, these stamps are just so easy to color. This is called Hazelnut Brown, A2492, which I'm just doing the fence and the tree. This up here looks like it's wooden. And again, just going to go in with that darker gray, and anywhere that the stamp is showing me that it should be darker, I'm going to go in and color it in darker. All right, let's see how this blends out. far, so good. Not too bad. Bubble bath pink, the very bright pink. Okay, I think I want to do the grass, a little bit of a darker green. This is where the broad tips come in nicely because a wide area like this is easy to color and cover. Okay, now let's do the sky. Okay, this might be the lightest blue, which is Arctic blue. And that is not super light. So let's try using our blender. Okay, so here's another one, Glacier blue. It's more like a grayish blue. That's not too bad. Let's try laying this down. And then we can go in and add up some colors from the other blue and blend it in. Maybe it's a cloudy day on the field. Alright, so this one, I've already used some of this at the top. I'm just going to try to blend some of this down. I'm going to go in with the blender and blend over all of that. See if it'll lighten it up a little bit. Alright, so I just went back in with the Arctic Blue and covered everything up. And just going to go in again with the clear blender and just kind of smooth that out so it doesn't have as many brush strokes. So let me do the grass too. I think that doesn't look half bad. What do you guys think? So lots of bright colors there. So just another alternative. I would definitely give these a thumbs up. Again, from somebody who has been stamping for a little bit now. You know, it's a very good price point to come out on the market for alcohol-based markers based on the collection that I already have with my Spectrum Noir and my Copics. If you guys have any questions, post them down below. And again, the stamps were sponsored by Blue Knight Rubber Stamps, and the markers were sent to me by Arteza. I will link the stamps for you and Blue Knight Rubber Stamps webpage. The Arteza link that I will link for you is an affiliate site. It's at no cost to you. It just lets Arteza know that you watched my video, and that's how you learn about these markers. So thanks for watching, guys. Any questions, post them down below. If you like this video, I appreciate your thumbs up. And here are the other two panels again that I made with Copics, Spectrum Noir, and the new Arteza markers. So if you don't have alcohols, these are alcohol markers. These are a good investment, in my opinion, for you guys to try out. Thanks for watching. Keep on stamping. Bye-bye.